Hey, just checking in. Um, so this week I wanted to take a little bit of a different spin on the whole challenge in an effort to be socially responsible and a proud Newfoundlander, Labradorian, proud Canadian, and doing my best to educate my children and myself about Remembrance Day and Armistice Day. I took the entire week to focus in on different opportunities to learn more and to talk about freedom with my children. So on Sunday, the kids and I headed to Bowring Park and we visited some of our favorite spaces, including the Beaumont Hamel Caribou and the Fighting Newfoundland Soldier. I had the opportunity to talk to my son candidly about freedom and what that means and how we can love whoever we want to love. We can marry who we want to marry. We can vote. We have a voice. We can wear whatever we want to wear. Some of these things that we take for granted every day because of our nation and because of the efforts of our military and service people. And although I hate the idea of war, there's no avoiding it, right? So I just think that in an effort to learn about history and just take a moment to step outside yourself and try and understand or try to learn more about what it was like. So Monday, we watched just on YouTube the Poppy story. So it went through the history of the poppy, and the In Flanders Fields poem was referenced, and how the author lost somebody and found comfort in the little red poppies. And it's just so absolutely beautiful to kind of take a moment and find beauty in something so small and delicate. So on November 8th, we watched a little animation. It's called A Beautiful Animation, Seeing War as Experienced by Animals. So it's something I just never even considered or thought about, to be quite honest. But when we hear about war-torn countries and the impacts and effects it has on us as humans, you know, let's face it, our animals suffer too. And it was just a beautiful little short that we watched with the kids, and another way to sort of talk about and open the discussion about what is perhaps going on right now in the world. So on Wednesday, November 9th, there was another program that I tuned into, and it was called Turning Point of History, Newfoundland at the Somme. And this one really helped me understand or open up my eyes, I guess, a little bit more to the Royal Newfoundland Regiment and kind of what that looked like for our brothers and sisters that wanted to support and help Britain, and what the efforts that they went very far and took part in various different activities even before that fateful day on July 1st, 1916. I believe it was 801 service people, and something like 68 survived or came home. The people in the regiment wore these triangles or badges on their backs to as an effort so that they can be assessed on how they're doing, so they would know what regiment they belong to. And I'm not quite certain other regiments were signaled out like that. And in this particular story, it talked about how I think the man's name was Tobin. They also talked about a man, Steele, but I think it was Tobin who was out on the hills at Beaumont Hamel and was terrified to move. He actually made it past 9:45 a.m., which the majority of people didn't. The majority of fighters, servicemen in the regiment did not. And he was terrified to move because he was afraid this badge or this thing, this shape on his back, which was supposed to help with assessments, was going to give him away. So I just, it just really makes you wonder how terrified they must have been. I think the next night I watched the Newfoundland and Labrador in the World War. And I think it was Home Defense Forces. So this was the Second World War. So I took some time to learn about the Newfoundland militia, and I guess kind of the looking at the differences from when our service people came back after the First World War, and then how the regiment sort of went quiet for a while, and then how those things picked back up again around the Second World War, and how it looked different in trying to protect our own island, and how delicate we are out there in that Atlantic Ocean. So the last thing was today, and my children and I went and got to experience the War Memorial Remembrance Ceremony. And one of the things that really was beautiful was hearing, I believe it was a priest who talked about how it doesn't matter if you believe in God, or if you believe in somebody else, or if you're just a human being just living. He said to just pray to whatever for peace. And I thought that was pretty remarkable, because sometimes religion can really dictate who you should outpray who. And I just thought it was very tasteful and beautiful and moving. And I think the other thing was how they opened the day acknowledging the Aboriginal peoples and land, and then they went forward and started this beautiful thumping of the drums and blasting of the cannons. And I just got to say that it was extremely moving, and I was very lucky to be there. And I just wanted to give my thanks for all of the service people, but today I'd also really like to acknowledge the moms. I can't imagine losing my children. As a mom, you're just trying to keep the peace in your house, and so when you have a service person as a child, they're trying to keep the peace outside the house. And if you lose that person, I don't know where you'd find peace again. And so I'd just like to say, lest we forget. And thank you.